everyone. Welcome to the Research Cafe series, Exploring Science, My Journey and Engagement, a pioneering initiative by the Innovation and Ideation Club, a first of its kind in CliMed's history. This series is designed to inspire and engage young researchers and scientists by sharing the personal and academic journey of experienced researchers. Through these stories, we aim to learn from their experiences, challenges, and gain valuable insights into the world of scientific research and innovation. I'm your host, Shambhavi Dubey, and please join me in welcoming our esteemed guest speaker, Arin Natania ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. Ma'am is a doctor of pharmacy from Sri Ramakrishna Institute of Paramedical Science, Coimbatore, and has accumulated a wealth of experience in research and academia, having served as a junior research officer at CMC Vellore, where she worked on various projects. She was later promoted to Project Associate 1, where she continues to excel in her research pursuits. Ma'am has also held position at Cheers, innovating with technology as a project lead and as an author and writer, where she was honored with Best Author of the Year Award 2020 and 2021, and has been a member of Pharmacon Society of Pharmacy Practice since 2018. Additionally, she has also served as the head of Department of Microbiology at Medroin. Ma'am has also been recognized through certifications from prestigious institutions like Stanford University School of Medicine and ICH GCP. She has also been honored with Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt, and her impressive track record includes 7 research projects, 6 case reports, 6 patents, and 19 publications, showcasing her dedication to advancing scientific knowledge and improving healthcare outcomes. We are thrilled to have her share her inspiring journey with us today. A warm welcome to you, ma'am, once again.
Thank you so much. I feel like I don't deserve so much of praise, but thank you.
No, you do. So I'll give a brief insight to everybody, like what Research Cafe is going to look like. So in this Research Cafe series, we will ask ma'am questions about her personal journey, her achievements, interests, and researches, like from nanobots and cyborgs to biohacking and other sci-fi inspired topics as well. So I request you all to stay tuned till the very end. So shall we start, ma'am?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Now, starting with your personal journey, ma'am, tell us what sparked your passion for healthcare and research.
Okay, so from my childhood days, I've been intrinsically more interested towards innovation or creation or something exploratory or new. But I was definitely not inspired by healthcare until I reached a certain point in school, where I was admitted for an ailment for around 2 weeks. And then I saw a variety of healthcare professionals, talking about my case and trying to, come to a conclusion and diagnosis. And I saw the plight of other patients who were waiting in lists and not being administered, and the, a healthcare professional ratio along with the total population in India. So that was the moment when I thought, okay, probably I should explore healthcare and move towards it. And also, like in our Indian society, it is most widely accepted service. So I thought of choosing healthcare. And yes, my intrinsic interest was research, so I wanted to pursue research.
Okay. That's cool, ma'am. Actually, most of our Indian families are basically our family choices go for you should go for healthcare or most probably MBBS only. So we are inspired by our parents most of the time. So were there any mentors or role models who inspired you the most during your journey?
Which part of my journey are you asking about?
About your PharmD career.
Okay. I chose PharmD career after, after being left out of options. I'm from a very disturbed background of my childhood. It is like I never thought I'll be able to study in a good English medium school or pursue further careers, but I was a very meritorious student, so I was able to join a good school, an English medium school, and then finish my 12th with good grades. I was the school first and all those stuff. And then PharmD was introduced to me by my dad. It was quite surprising. He always updates himself on science and technology advancements through news. So I came to know when I was in 8th or 9th. I think that was the first batch or something like that. So that was quite interesting, and I started to explore on that perspective, and I was ready. I was okay to go into any other STEM subjects as well. Since I'm mostly interested in exploring research, I was like, okay, I am okay with other colleges or other universities, which would help me imbibe and grow. But then my parents were able to get me into a good college for PharmD, so I accepted that, and then I went in with a blank eye and a blank mind. So, and then I started with from zero, and throughout my career, my PharmD career, my principal was the biggest support, I would say. He always mentored me throughout, and he always encouraged me. And he was very close to me as well. So he was one of the mentors I would never forget. And then later on, my outside collaborators and my friends were able to, genuinely support me. They were my mentors.
That's really great. Ma'am, I came across one of the events you attended previously in CliMed's. So there you said that COVID time had become very difficult for you. And that time you did not seek any kind of mentorship from anybody. So how was that phase for you?
Right from my childhood, I was always exposed to stress and mental turbulences and those societal problems, some kind of extremes of problems I had to face. So I was already adapted to stress. My coping mechanism was being productive. So in order to cope with my stress and my day-to-day life, the challenges that I had to face, I used to distract myself to being productive, because that was the way I wanted to survive. I didn't want to be left out, or of course, I didn't want to have any vulnerabilities. So I had to, do something productive and showcase myself, bring out my talents, and then I developed that characteristics. So out of that situations, mostly I work very well under stress. I like to solve problems, fix it. So during such kind of times, I was able to, involve myself, intrinsically explore in those areas and know and update myself. Almost through my sources were all websites and information bureaus and journals. So I was able to do it.
Most of us become very, I don't know, but some of us, if we don't, during COVID, we got into depression, most of us, I would say. But mostly, I don't think any of us would resort to productivity for that. But that's really a big lesson. If you feel like the life is getting harder, then you should actually invest your time into something which is very productive, and that can promote to your skills as well. That's correct. And any advice which you would like to give to your younger self who was just starting out in your career?
I would say just keep going. I mean, the uncertainty is what I love in this, and life should be with uncertainties, and I don't see for perfection or symmetry. So, of course, we always think, grass is greener on the other side, but that's not always the case. We make decisions, and it's multidimensional, and there could be multiple decisions that we could take. We do not know what is better, and if we make that decision and we are ready to face its impact and its consequences, just go for it. So I followed that, and I'm not going to advise my younger self because let it be a surprise.
next segment, we'll explore about your research area. So could you share any 2 or 3 key projects or area of expertise you have been involved during your tenure as a project associate at CMC Vellore?
So at CMC, I started with rural projects. It was mostly involving qualitative data collection pertaining to asthma, and also interviewing healthcare professionals about their opinions. I started like that, and then again I was given to the core of asthma, and then we went for quantitative research, and then mostly pertaining to clinical pharmacological activities, drug interactions, and then drug allergy, and mostly into that. Those were the areas that I was mostly working on. Other than that, I was being a backup or helping other projects as well in the department as well as outside. Majorly, these were the things I was handling.
So, ma'am, you said that you were interviewing healthcare professionals as well. So, any advice that stood out the most to you?
Actually, it is the qualitative research was not based on advice.
Okay.
The interview was regarding asthma, its diagnostics, and how it impacts the society, and how do they diagnose, what are the treatment options they give. That was a part of data collection.
Okay, so every day you had to show up there and collect the data and interview the healthcare professionals. So consistency was a fundamental key for your research. So research can often be very demanding, and it could lead to stressful moments as well. So how do you navigate these challenges so that stress cannot hinder your consistency or productivity?
Being consistent has always been my discipline. Actually, it's only because I had discipline I was able to come through so much. Otherwise, without that, I don't think I would have been able to come here, and of course God's grace. So I know while being consistent and while producing the work, I always tend to be a perfectionist and try to work through the process. That is like a fun work for me. I don't expect outcomes. I'll just leave it as it is, let the results come. I know what will be the outcomes, 70%, but I won't be expecting too much, so I'll be enjoying the means rather than the ends. So during stressful situations, for me, I would say stress is a motivating factor. So I work more through stress, and there has been weeks of sleepless nights, and then after that immediately I used to have some physical problems. I'll just get admitted in the casualty. There has been such situations where I was completely involved in research so much that I was not able to take my mind out of it. Even if I try to sleep or do something else, I won't be able to. So stress usually helps me, and I have good discipline, I can say. And if my physical health is deteriorating and if my mind is exhausted and giving up, then I'll give it some rest and I'll recoil. And for me, small moments and small things are enough to keep me excited.
That's really great. Ma'am, you said about being perfectionist. So there are also some perfectionists who procrastinate a lot because they know that once they will get at the task, they'll have to do it with perfection. But till that moment, they avoid the stress and they procrastinate the task. So how can you can you give any advice how to not do that? Like how to not procrastinate your tasks?
Okay, so I divide works into divisions, like divide and rule, or divide and conquer. So I start with small initial phases. Like, for example, a small example, if I want to read a book that is 500 pages, I would ascertain myself first, read the first part, like 50 pages, and I'll see how much of the time it takes and how much I can imbibe in myself. And then I would just concentrate and focus only on those 50 pages. I'll just forget about the rest of the 50 pages. So when you divide the tasks into small pieces, then you'll be able to do, you won't procrastinate and it will be perfect. Every piece will be perfect. And then you can divide it into short-term and long-term goals. So when it comes to immediate deadlines or short-term submissions, you can prioritize that first, and then 1 or 2 hours you can give some time to chase your long-term goals.
Okay, I hope.
It's all about time management.
Yes, I hope the audience is taking notes. And next, while I was researching for this podcast, I came across your YouTube channel, and and there were 3 videos uploaded. Out of which one was a song cover of Zayn Malik. So, do you have passion for music as well? Of course, you do. So, like, what are your favorite artists or genre that inspires you the most?
Actually, genres, it differed with my age, I would say, and it depends on my mood. So right now I'm sticking to old genres, be it jazz or some previous historical music, and ethereal singing, those stuff. And I'm very passionate about music. I've been told that I have a good voice, and it's been a gift from my younger days. So I kept singing at church and other places wherever I get, but I didn't take it seriously. I'm also learning musical instruments, professionally. So I'm quite interested in music. It helps me with stress relief.
We can sense that with your voice. It's very calming. Next, talking about your collaborations with other people. So, you had the opportunity to collaborate with individuals of different disciplines, right? Like biostatisticians, physicians, data analysts, and other officers. So, what's that experience like? And how do you effectively collaborate with others?
So collaborations with people, it's actually friendly. I just don't go with the intention of just getting some benefit. I only go there, sit with them, talk about their interests, have a communication, use a little bit of psychology, and then I'll see if there are ways to seek benefits from each other, exchange ideas, and then collaborate with them. If it is a good idea, we are up for it. And it's not only pertaining to medical professionals, but I've collaborated with theoretical physicists, mathematicians, so people who are in technological field will be an intricate who can intricately apply their knowledge in medical field, especially in advancements. And for me to even understand better about developing a research question from that. So it's more or less like forming a friendship, because I like to keep it genuine instead of just having them as acquaintances. So I hang out with them, have fun with them also. So yeah, I would like to call them my friends.
That's cool. And so any advice which you would like to give our young researchers and scientists, like how can they collaborate with others? Like LinkedIn is a source, but how can they approach others to collaborate for research or any stuff?
Before doing that, as a person, you have to develop some values, I would say. Hardworking nature, being genuine, being honest, ethical. First of all, the character development should be important, and then and willing to learn. You should have explored some other areas before talking to a person, so that when you tell a new information that they don't know, that they will feel excited to know more about it. And then you should be a good listener, I would say. A good listener will be able to identify their problems, identify the other person's interests, and then talk about it, which will intrigue them. So basically, human beings like to be appreciated, and they are a little self-centered, more than being an altruistic person. This phenomenon is called as psychological egoism, where humans do everything for their satisfaction, either to increase their pleasure or to decrease their pain. So step out and stand in their shoes, learn about them, appreciate them, and then don't complain about them. Don't say that they're wrong. definitely nobody is going to like it. So using such kind of basic psychology and then being really genuine, that is more important. You don't have to fake it. You can just be genuine. There's nothing that's going to go away from you if you appreciate somebody. Give way for others. So if you apply these things, they'll definitely collaborate with you, whoever it is. And senior researchers, professors, principal investigators, they need young minds right now, because we have the capability to adopt to the recent advancements in technological fields. We are more communicative. We know how to use social media better. So they are in need of us. And they are very well happy to get us to work and do some work for them. In exchange we can get something.
True. Actually, there's so much to learn about and to develop as a human being. Always the stage is always of learning only till the end of the life. And next, talking about your publications, and your publications are very fascinating. They sound like science fiction. Most of them, like nanobots, xenotransplantation, artificial blood, they are like futuristic ideas. And especially cyborgs and transhumans, they are also like you're exploring a very new world. So let me begin with what are nanobots and how they differ from our traditional medical tools and devices.
Nanobots are a separate form of technology, a biotechnology, where you can use small sized, nanometer sized, or quantum sized materials to imbibe and navigate through the diagnostic procedures and use it for treatments, like where you cannot reach the organs or tissues, and it can be minimally invasive, and it will be able to combine with other technological advancements. So I would say nanobots has to be combined with artificial intelligence, and right now quantum computing, quantum theories and all is there. So advancements in that would be able to help implement nanobots in the technology, which is already being used in a primitive stage, and people are using it in massive areas other than healthcare.
Correct. Actually, nanobots, I have heard that once they enter into your body, they have this ability to release the drug on the site itself. And that's really cool when it comes to cancer patients, because they want their cells to be preventing from damage. Normal cells has to be prevented from damage. So in that case, and I think it's really cool that you have covered all these aspects in your publications. And second, which I want to ask you about, is biohacking. So correct me if I'm wrong, it refers to practice of any individual science using science and technology in order to enhance or modify their bodies, minds, or physical appearance or experiences. And this can range from anything like wearable devices and brain computer interfaces to genetic editing and implantable chips. So in your expert opinion, why people are exploring this space, and what is the potential risk arising from biohacking? Because it sounds terrifyingly fascinating. So what's your opinion on that?
Transhumanism actually covers all these. Like it's a philosophical movement or an ideology where a human being wants to become more than a human. So cyborg and biohacking are applicative methods. So under biohacking, there are three types. You can modify genetics. You can, use superior methods like watching your diet, or watching your bowel movements, watching your sleep schedule, and change and bring about superior changes in that. And there is something called grinder method, where you can actually implement technology and prosthetics into your body, which is actually connected to your cognitive function of brain. That is what is called cyborgs, or cybernetic organisms. I already told you that humans has evolved to become superior, to be dominant, to have power, and to increase their longevity, to increase their well-being, and to be more powerful. That is the intrinsic behavior. Collective responsibility is there, altruism is there, but this is the most dominant trait of human beings. So, of course, they will go for it. That is their basic nature. They'll definitely go for it, and of course, they want to be, as a part of dominance and power comes fame and people praising them, appreciating them. It comes along with it more power. You can subdue other people, you can subdue the environment. So there is a lot of economic, socio-cultural and political advantages when somebody wants to become a cybernetic organism.
So, is there any ethical implications of combining human and machines? How will society adapt to it?
Oh, definitely. So economically, when you see, the rich will be able to purchase it. So there'll be already there is a rich and a poor divide. Their economic rates, their income, per capita income is all completely divided. Around 3 to 5% owns the most of the resources. So obviously, when somebody wants to use this, type of technology, it will be the rich person, and the divide is going to be more. And political power or the military power will be more, because it will be able to subdue masses of people, and it will destroy the environment around, and it will destroy a biodiversity and the ecosystems around. Because humans have been always exploiting the natural resources, just being human. So, of course, that will be destroyed, and it's a very negative thing. And when it comes to socio-cultural perspective, there are already communal riots and violence and insurgencies and terrorism going on. So, dark web and all those things. If it goes to them, I don't know, humans will begin destroying humans, which is already happening. So this will enhance. And when it comes to legislative laws and policies, these policies are existing for whatever is existing on the earth, that is for Homo sapiens. But if these kind of post-humans or transhumans develop, they have to be separately named. They are not Homo sapiens. So, and the policies will vary, the right to privacy and the right to life, everything will vary. And there need to be a separate government for them, which is actually very, and I feel society, some may be against it, some may be persecuted for it. So it will be very difficult for the society to change. But seeing the improvements like for past 2-3 decades and how people adapt to it, I think they'll get used to it. But there'll be a lot of problems. With every decision and action, there's going to be a lot of other problems.
The speed with which the technology is developing, soon I think so these technologies will come into existence, and will not be surprised by seeing flying cars and stuff. So I have seen that your publications are mostly about sci-fi only. So how do you stay updated on medical research advancements and changes in the field?
I usually read, schemes and policies brought about by the government, and the scientific research that is happening, usually PIBs, journals, and a few updates, website updates, and collaborating with other people we'll get to, and people who are representing other fields, like people in commerce and technological field, data science field. You will get to know a lot of things from them, because they are also working on these things. So that is how I stay updated. I don't know everything, but somehow whatever I feel like exploring or I'm curious about, I just take a note and I look into it. I see the holistic approach being applied.
It's very important to continuously learn and update ourselves, and that's really great that you have done. And I hope everybody learns to do that, because sometimes it becomes difficult to take out time out of your day to just get updated with the knowledge. So ma'am, we know that you have 6 patents to your name. So could you share any of your story of your successful patents?
So I define successful patents as something that could be applied for commercial use. So far, nothing has been working out because you need a very big team for that, and you have to start from preclinical stage, and then it's going to be a very robust process, and you need a sponsor or some pharma industry. But if you collaborate with pharma industry, it is likely that they will ask for our patent, and we need to sell it. So it's going to be very difficult, and patents are just like aesthetics, I would say. I like to explore into discovery, so I was subjected into it. So while I was in college, I was contacted by a few collaborators, and uh, I was interested in going for it. So I was given small tasks because obviously I'm not experienced at that point. So they were happy with my work, and I was able to learn about IPR and the rights and how to manage and the petitions and litigations involving in it and the attorneys. So I was able to learn, and then I stuck to it, and then I started collaborating with them. But when it comes to academic or applicative purpose, it needs to go through a lot of process to get commercialized. Only then you can give it back to society, but otherwise it stays as an aesthetic value.
So ma'am, would you like to share some part of your PharmD journey? And also please tell our PharmD students like what is the scope ahead, something of that sort. Yes.
I can talk only from a research point of view and some fields, but otherwise things that I haven't explored, I won't be able to talk for it. So but as far as I know, my seniors and people I know, and then people I see, they're all integrated into different level playing fields. So I would say PharmD has a great scope, and it is not well defined, and it is not systematic, I would say. So each person get to explore what they want to do. Like only when they get into a primary field, I feel they'll be able to know what further they can go deep rooted or dive deep into it to expand their knowledge into it and gain wisdom in whatever they're interested in. So because they have to get into a good job to actually know what they want to do next. When I was completing my PharmD, while I joined, I didn't know anything. But then while seeing the subjects, I was able to think what I could actually do with the subject. So for example, pharmacology or pharmacokinetics or biostatistics, I know, okay, using this, I'll be able to bring this. So probably I can pursue this. I think that kind of mentality would help, applying whatever is in theory. And then when it comes to research, there are a lot of opportunities, but India is more manufacturing and productive rather than R&D. But recently, in 2023 September, the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, under which our Department of Pharmaceutical is, under. So they have come up with a policy called National Policy for Research and MedTech sectors and pharmaceuticals. So they have separated funds for that, and they've been appointing people, and they've been developing infrastructure in national institutes like NIPER, ICMR, and they have been collaborating and signing pacts with international agencies and countries like UK and USA for sending on scholarships to do more research in other fields, and also bringing their technologies inside, because India is lagging behind in that. I forgot about the scheme. I have written it. Yeah, it's called Atmanirbhar Bharat. Yeah, so they are mostly converting cost-based to value-based industry. So that is the reason they are implying R&D as well. They want to be a self-reliant people. So India is currently the third largest producer pharmaceuticals, but they are very, very behind in research. So this is what they have come up with, and so we can use these opportunities to. I've read about this recently. I didn't know before all these things. So only when I stepped into research, I was able to explore. And whenever you get into a field, whenever you want to get into a field, you have to have a holistic approach, like how it impacts the society. What is your real intention behind? Do you want popularity, or do you want to stay ahead, or do you want to serve, or do you want to explore new things and create something? So intentions are very important. So it lies from the thought process, and then you get to expand, experiment your knowledge in that field, and then you get into the action phase. So that is how you have to search and see what career would adapt you. And if you focus and reflect on yourself, I think people will definitely know what they're made up of and what their purpose is. Some people are more service oriented. They like to help others. They don't get exhausted with it, and they have intrinsic values to be altruistic. Some people are more creative, innovative. Some people could have leadership skills, administrative skills, so they can explore in that. So as Thales, the Greek philosopher, said, knowing thyself is very important. And we should also know, as Socrates says, you know nothing. So keep learning and keep exploring.
That's very inspiring. I was about to ask you any piece of advice which you would like to give everybody, and that was actually a piece of advice. But no, we want more advices from you. So any piece of advice which you want to give us who want to make a difference in healthcare and research, just like you have done.
So mine lies with discipline. I mean, hard work and interest. But the experiences that I gained, I'm very young to give advices, but still, the foundational values that you should have is wisdom, purpose, and truth. So with wisdom, you'll be able to be logical, reasonable, and then with that intent, you can have right thoughts or right intentions. And then with truth, you will be able to have ethics, and you will be having a value-based approach. So you'll be able to explore and experiment ethically. And then knowing the purpose, knowing why you exist, it is related to identity. That will help you serve and take actions, because that is your purpose. So these are my 3 advices.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for sharing your experiences with us today. And your journey is truly inspiring. I'm sure that our audience will find your advices incredibly valuable.
Right now, we are seeing pharmaceutical products are being in demand. So what is the important role that this pharmaceutical, those who are doing pharmaceutical course, suppose M Pharma, B Pharma, how can we improve the manufacturing, or what are the key roles to increase so that my product will be different from others?
So when it comes to production, manufacturing sector needs a lot of capital formation and infrastructures. So it mostly, just like any other manufacturing sector, an industry has to lie where there are raw materials, where there are better waste disposal systems, transport systems, better policy reforms, and good market. So when all these are addressed, you will be able to increase your production and incubating and using innovative technologies, and having foreign investments, and having schemes for investments, like government schemes, like that of sunrise sectors or MSME sectors. You will be able to produce more in that case. And we have extensive labor. India is the most populous country, and we have very cheap labor available for packaging and non-skilled laborism. So I feel India is doing quite well when it comes to production, but when you want to perform differently, you have to have some analytical methods and also, of course, research, because a product which is superior or inferior is dependent on whether it has different functional groups, or whether it is made up of different type of synthesis, and of course cost, and what is the purity of raw materials, how is the packaging done, how is the labeling done. Every factors dominates that, so it's not just about the product, I would say.
Yes, sir. We have a question from Kabir Hadi, who says Telangana government has announced that PharmD
question.
should not work as the DMO in hospitals, whereas there is scarcity of clinical pharmacist job in India. So many students are working as DMO. What are views on this? Should PharmD graduates be eligible as DMO or not?
Fantastic question. Would like to go, Arin? Please answer this.
I will take it.
Yes.
So DMO, from whatever curriculum we have, I don't think we are good at being a DMO, but if it is government hospital, I think we'll be able to manage that. But when it comes to specific cases or superlative cases, and with experience, yes, you can, but initially when you get into it, you will know nothing. When it comes to diagnosis, no, doctors are the experts. They are the experts.
Okay, I'll come to the reality. So it will be a little brutal to everyone, but yes, the reality is that PharmDs are not meant to be the DMOs. I'm not judging your competency, but according to the rules also. The Indian rules and the NMC, the National Medical Council, says that other than MDs and MBBS people who have the medical background in the first higher education, only can become the DMOs, right? And till date, I have asked almost 15 DMOs from Andhra and Telangana. The people, they are getting the DMO jobs, but let me tell you guys the truth. No one has the official appointment letter on the letterhead. No one. You guys are being used, you guys are being abused. Okay, if I say DMO is not at all a job, this is not at all a designation. The people, I always tell you, do you understand the truth? Clinical pharmacist was the job what they thought while they were starting the PharmD. But even now, the clinical pharmacist is very much underrated and very much saturated in India. Okay, but I'm not saying that you should not go for clinical pharmacist, or you should not go for this job, clinical pharmacist. DMO, I was never in the favor. Okay, because that is not at all a job. What is the reality? You can counter me here. The people who are working as a DMO in the hospitals in Andhra and Telangana, I think this is only in Andhra and Telangana, nowhere else, I believe, right? They are getting the salary in cash. The hospitals even don't have the money trails. You cannot trace them. If someone files a case on them, if the government or the NMC files a case, sue them, they will not get the money trail also. They're like, we did not hire you. And that is the reality. When you go to the hospital and someday NMC or NABH or NEC or whatever the regulatory bodies are there, if they come for the audits, they will tell you, please take a leave for that day. That is a reality. So I think that is the wonderful step taken by the Andhra and Telangana government to stop this nonsense. Frankly, if I say, they can give you the better job, they can give you the better titles. Okay, what is the DMO? DMO is just like they are. I was talking to, I think you guys only a few days back. Not here. I was talking in DY Patil day before. 3 days back. I was there and I was talking to the students. I got to know some terms. Recently we call them dry job or dry promotion. Do you know the dry promotion? What is dry promotion? Anyone? No, right? So the dry promotion is when some company makes you manager, or from the manager they makes you senior manager, but they don't raise your pay scale. Okay. And the dry job is when you get a job with the title of CEO, but you are getting 10,000 rupees per month or nothing, you know. So that is the same thing, I correlate with DMOs. Actual DMO salary is minimum 60,000. Minimum 60,000 as per the norms, and you guys are getting 20,000, 25,000, 30,000, sometimes 40,000 also. In COVID, I have seen people were getting 1 lakh also, literally. But that was in the COVID scenario. Now you're not getting that much salary and that much money, guys. So don't stick to the DMOs. Come out of the dream and come out of that. Not the dream. I'll say it's a myth. Come out of that, please. Don't think of that. Okay. Clinical pharmacist, I'll talk. A bit. So clinical pharmacist is a saturated job, frankly, because if you join as a clinical pharmacist somewhere in the hospital, tell me after 2 years or 3 years you will be senior clinical pharmacist. Then after 4 years you will be the head of the clinical pharmacy unit. But what after that? Will they make you the superintendent or deputy superintendent, or they'll take you to the admin of the hospital? Not at all possible until unless you are having the MBA, or you are not having, you are having some administrative degrees or something. Being a PharmD, you cannot go above them. So after 4 years, you'll be just getting 2,000 or 3,000 rupees ka Diwali bonus and 2,000 rupees increment every year, and you will be the chief pharmacist. So what will be the life? This is the most saturated job. Come out of that. There are thousands of the jobs, for you guys. I think I'm in the dark. I have to on my light. Okay, after this. Okay. So please come out of that, guys. You can go for the clinical pharmacist job, but just for a year, 2 years, or couple of years. But after that, you have to switch. So please think about it before you come to the industry. Okay. Have some A, B, C, D plans to go to the industry, to go to the clinical research, to go to the academics, not only the clinical pharmacist. Okay. So over to the next questions, Arin, you can take.
The next question is by Shamita Gautam. She says, can you suggest me which department is best to escalate my career?
In the sense?
One second, sorry. After PharmD, I want to pursue PhD, and can you suggest me which department is best to escalate my career?
There are various good departments, but she has to find where her interest lies in like pharmacogenomics and clinical research, clinical pharmacy practice, and medicinal chemistry, pharmaceutical research, and regulatory stuff. So there are so many things. She has to find where she wants to get into. And newer developments like pharmacometrics, pharmacokinetic fields.
Yes, absolutely. So guys, PhD is, as she told, many departments are there, and PharmD people are eligible to go anywhere. Okay. So she has told about many departments and some new departments also, like pharmacokinetics. But let me tell you, you can go to artificial intelligence, you can go to technology, you can go to biotechnology, you can go to food technology. Other than that, you can go to all the departments of medical sciences. And you did not ask the right question to Arin. She is working in the field of neurology for last many years, if I'm not wrong. Pulmonology, I'm so sorry. Yes. But you did not get the question actually on that. What specialty she is working in, right? You guys missed that question. Okay. Guys would have asked how did she reach there, and why she is working in the same department, and what's her interest to be in the same department, and why she didn't want to come out anytime in the past, like, okay, I'll explore some other departments, because she's getting a good job, she's getting a good research, she's getting good funds, she's getting good patents in their department. So she would have tell you more in that. Okay. And then I'll come to the the PhD. So PhD you can do as like in cardiology, in pulmonology, in genetics, in gynecology, in gastroenterology, psychiatry, surgery. Other than that, as he told, pharmacometrics, pharmacoeconomics, HEOR, a lot of other departments are there. It's totally depends on you where you want to do and what you want to do. Totally on your interest. Sometimes it's not your interest, and if you want to do the PhD you have to, but it's like you have to do the PhD, so go for it. Okay, I mean, you have to think of the interest in a wider way. Like, okay, I want to do in medical science, genetics, or the basic science, or in pharmacoeconomics. Then you divide in medical science what you want to do. In cardiology, if you are not getting cardiology, go to gastroenterology. If you're not getting gastroenterology, go to some other department. But it totally lies in your interest. Okay, and there are many colleges now. CMC is there, Manipal is there, JSS, KLE, AIMS, PGIMR Chandigarh, and Puducherry. These all are giving you the PhD in all the medical science departments for PharmDs, I'm telling you. Okay, so it totally depends on your, like, it's not something like which can escalate my career. Your interest escalates your career. And if I tell you, if you're going out of the box, that will be more helpful in escalating the career. Like pharmacometrics and HUR, pharmacoeconomics, and public health. There are many other departments where you want to.
There's also another question which says, coming from Vellore and studying PharmD, just curious to know how you got into CMC. What are the opportunities available for PharmDs right now in CMC?
Okay. So I just applied on online website. In their website, I just applied. I submitted my CV and my letters, reference letter and stuff. I just submitted. I waited for the interview. I went for the interview. I got into it. Just like a normal procedure. Of course, I'm an outsider for CMC Vellore. So, but they took me in, and I was the first CP come research officer in the Department of Pulmonology. So, right now I have 2 years of experience. So in my first year, I worked really hard. I was trying to impress so that they know the value of PharmD. So I was putting in extra hours, extra work, and I was also doing irrelevant works given. But I enjoyed doing it because it widened my perspective. It was completely irrelevant for a medical science person. So I did such kind of jobs, and then I used to personally assist other people. I used to give my inputs, and then they took an interest in enhancing the clinical outcomes in their department. Since there are ranking and accreditation process and auditing and stuff, they wanted to put me in. So in that case, I was able to bring up change few things, help people, because my department is a super specialty department, and I was very young, and everybody were excellent people. So I was quite insecure in the beginning, but I was accepted because of few people. They were able to help me, and it was quite lonely, but that's okay. I took interest in doing things, and then somehow, but it was purely dedication and hard work, and I was very genuine. At initial times, I never used to say no. Even if I don't know something, I'll say, okay, I'll do it. I'll somehow try. And then partially, like 30% I'll finish, and then 70% I wouldn't know. I'll go ask them for doubts. I would say, I'm not able to do this, how to solve this. So it's like I've also participated, I've tried something, and they've also taught me, and then I've improved myself. That is how it worked for me.
There's also another question that it says, is it necessary to start as a CRC to enter the clinical research? And what is the difference between clinical trial coordinator, clinical research associate, and research associate analyst? Could you explain the hierarchy of post in clinical research?
So it starts with CRC. When it comes to industries, I think CRC, CRA, and then project manager, I think. But when it comes to a hospital side, it's quite the opposite. First a researcher, then associate, and then coordinator. So when it comes to industry, it is entirely different. CRC or a CRA, they mostly they are used for coordinating purposes with the hospital. So if they want to do a clinical trial, they will take it to the hospital. They will try to get their approval, make them do the work, and then check periodically, audit periodically, go for inspections about their area if they have enough facilities, and provide them funding. That is what. So people from industrial CRAs and CRCs from industries, they don't get into actual core research. But there are a separate hierarchy of researchers or scientists who are working in the industry. They are more into R&D. But when it comes to our people, CRA or CRC, it's different. Because clinical research has to take place in a hospital. So if you want to become a clinical researcher in the core field, you have to come to a hospital and work.
Yeah, so somebody is asking about a hierarchy. So as she told, it difference, there's a huge difference in the industry and the hospital. So you can either start with CRC or CRA or RA, research assistant, then, the research associate, and then the coordinators, and in the industry. But, if you are coming to the ICMR, there is a hierarchy, actual hierarchy of the research you will see there. They start with the clinical research assistant, then the CRC, clinical research assistant or CRC is the similar, position, the starting position for them. Then research associate 1, research associate 2, research associate 3, and then research scientist, the scientist A, scientist B, scientist C, scientist D. Then, from the scientist D, it starts for the administration. We call them the directors of the project, after D. Till C, you will be the in charge of many centers. Maybe you will be the the head of multiple centers, multiple projects, but still you will be into the research. Okay. And you will be into the policy making, you will be into the hierarchy meetings, but you will be handling all the finances, all the audits, all the seeing the data, overseeing the data from the multiple sites, multiple hospitals, multiple things. But when it comes to the scientist D, then it comes to the complete admin part. You will be overseeing the work at ICMR center, the main center of ICMR Delhi. And then scientist E and scientist F is the director of the ICMR is called as scientist F. And scientist E is, defined to multiple works. There are multiple scientist E for the research, scientist E for the, NCDs, like non-communicable disease, scientist E for communicable disease, scientist E for the, grant evaluation, scientist E for the, grants, scientist E for the travel grants. So there are, multiple different departments, and those are handled by the directors, and those directors are called as scientist E. Right, and entire thing comes under the scientist F, that is the director of the ICMR. Right, so that's how the hierarchy goes there. Okay, and in hospitals, definitely you can join, as she told, as research assistant or research associate, and then you can become the senior research assistant or something. And basically the CRC or RA's work is in the industry, that's definitely coordinating. But in the hospital, that the person will be will be doing the research, will be collecting the data, talking to the patients, procuring, and doing the medications, distributing the medications. There are pharmacists also in the team, but usually the CRC, if they are from the pharmacy background, then they only do the whole thing, consenting and all the process.
Also, next question, which says that I'm really interested in clinical research, and as a PharmD student, what are extra skills we should gain to get good placement in research after PharmD? Is PhD required for getting good position in clinical research?
Nice question, interesting question. This is wonderful. Yes, go ahead, Arin.
Okay, I don't have a PhD, so I started my research career where I was in 4th year, I think. It was a lot. So if you're able to fight like that and come up like that, then you'll be already having some publications and research work already done, which should act as a mode to help you get into the research career. But if you're starting from after your 6th year, then I would ask you to take some work workshop or courses to have some extra credits and take some small projects or form a small collaboration to write a paper and publish it. So that will help you start from the beginning. And yes, and with GCP, ICH, GCP, and extra additional credits you can get.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think PharmDs have the best choice and best options to start their research in 50th year when they have the project of 6 months. So why to wait to complete the PharmD and start the research? That is the best thing. If you are doing just your project, by laws, I say that by laws. If you are following all the aspects of writing the protocol, you will be the researcher from that time on. You will be understanding the IEC, you will be understanding the IRB, Institutional Review Board, Institutional Ethics Committee. You will be knowing inclusion criteria, exclusion criteria, how to get the question, how to prepare the Gantt chart, you will be knowing everything if you are doing a project by yourself. And you are doing a project, by the laws, right? And definitely you will be understanding the process of the research that time. Like recruiting the patients, collecting the data, creating the CRF, creating the patient patient information sheet, PIS, and the consent forms. You will be doing everything if you are doing the project, because you are the PharmD, so you will be definitely doing in the clinical research. Okay, you will be doing the clinical side, the hospital side. So you need to do all of that. And then it comes to the internship. So internship is not just made to go to the hospital, collect the cases, do some presentations and finish it off. You have 1 year, do some 6 month, 8 month, 1 year project there. Okay. And by the time publish your 4th year, the 5th year project. So I'm not telling you to go out of the syllabus. Like I'm not telling you to start from the 3rd year, publish a review paper in 3rd year, 4th year. If you are just completely lazy, okay, if you are 100% lazy and you are doing procrastinations and all, you don't want to do anything else in your life extra other than the syllabus, still do the syllabus in 5th year, do your project, but nicely, by rules. If you are doing that, you will become the researcher. Okay, that's from my side. Little harsh, but yes. Okay, we are not asking, they have made the syllabus like you can start the research in 5th year. It's not something you are doing extra. Okay, it is in the syllabus to do the project, but do it better, do it nicely. Just don't do it for the sake of doing. Okay, and exactly, if you are left from that phase in the 5th year or maybe the internship also, then definitely you have to go for some research. You have to go for some the courses in the clinical research, and that would be better to start with. And then you can have a job in the hospital. Maybe you can join as a CRC to get some experience, and also that's how you can do. Someone was asking, sir, I want to do PhD in neurology. Can I do it? Yes, of course you can do it. There are many people who are doing PhD in neurology after PharmD.
Yes, sir. There's another question. Is it necessary to do PhD in relevant department to enter into the research field?
Not at all. Not at all. It's not necessary. See, Arin, look at the Arin. You don't look at me, I'm PhD, but look at her. She's not PhD and she has 6 patents. I don't have any patent, literally, after even PhD. But this is not the situation, guys. This is not. Everyone has their different capacities, and it is 100% not necessary to have the PhD to enter into the research. Okay, it is not at all necessary.
Sir, can I do fellowship in critical care?
Yes, Arin, go ahead.
Okay. Yes, you can definitely do a fellowship. There are fellowships available in prominent institutions. You can opt for it. Like there are some fellowships that are actually specifically for PharmD qualifications. You can definitely go for it. 1 or 2 years, yes.
There's another question, and it's kind of personal. Ma'am, if you don't mind, may I know your salary? If you wish to tell, or else it's okay. It's just okay.
Okay.
For Vellore Vellore is a suburb, so I get enough for that. I'm able to save some. So To be honest, it started with 30K initially.
No, let me tell them the salaries. Don't worry. Let me tell them the salaries. So, guys, usually the CRCs or CRAs get 30 to 35 in starting, even in the ICMR. I mean CRCs and CRAs gets 45, and if you are a RA3, you will get 56,400 plus minus 8%. What we say it HR, and HRA, and then if you are joining as scientist A, then you will get 63,200 plus 9%. HRA, and if you are going above than that, scientist B, you will get 71,000 plus minus 9% HRA. So these are the salaries if you're joining. Maybe 10-15,000 lesser in the private hospitals and the universities, but you will get the handsome salary in the research. Don't worry. And don't ask me the scientist C salary of it. I'll not tell you.
Shall we begin with vote of thanks?
Yeah, definitely. I would like to thank first of all Arin for accepting our invitation. This is the second time we have her here in our CliMed's platforms, and I think it was inspiring, and I can see there are 200 people here and many people live in the YouTube as well. So yeah, it was amazing.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
So today we have been privileged to hear the remarkable story of Arin ma'am, a shining example of passion, perseverance, and dedication to research. Her journey is a powerful reminder that our interests and passions can shape our path, and that initiative, resilience, and continuous learning, with that we can overcome any obstacle. We are deeply grateful for her wisdom, insights, and generosity in sharing her experiences with us. Thanks to Ajit sir and to CliMed's Academy for creating this opportunity, and to our engaged audience for being part of this inspiring conversation. We hope you found this session informative and inspiring. Until next time, thank you for joining us on the Research Cafe series.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. Take care, guys.
Good night, guys.